Conference 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're excited, I want to see your excitement right in the comment section. My name is Oliver Shom, and I'm so delighted to be your host for tonight. And of course, I'm going to be hosting you from United States of America in the beautiful city of Minneapolis. And guess what? Right now in Minnesota, it's pretty cold, and there's what we call snow. Did you hear that? We have snow. So if you don't have your blanket, you're in trouble. You don't have your thick pullovers, you're in trouble. And I'm not saying that the rest of the people in the world are in trouble, but I'm saying that if you're here and you don't have something to protect yourself from cold, bro, you got to do something about that. And so it's such a privilege to be alive in this season of the year, time of the year. It is December, and it is the 5th of December, and we are launching for the first time in the history of mankind, the first ever Africa Must Rise Global Conference. And friend, sister, brother, auntie, uncle, mommy, dad, it is such a privilege for us to do this. And this is just the best time ever we could do this. And so, welcome to day 1 of 3 of the Africa Must Rise Global Conference. And of course, I'm so excited just as you are watching live right now. And I want to know how you feel right now on the comment section, okay? Just type on the comment section, how do you feel right now? Let's know. Yes, bring down the comments. Let's shut down the internet tonight with this event, because it's going to be an unprecedented one. And guess what? There are things you've never heard about Africa that you're going to be hearing tonight. You're going to be hearing these days. Okay? It's not going to be day 1, it's going to be day 2. If it's not day 2, it's going to be day 3. I want to assure you, you'll be hearing those things. You will hear those things, friend. And so, we have a lineup for tonight. Very, very heavy and powerful lineup of speakers. Global speakers, top international speakers, national speakers, community speakers, and speakers from all around the world. And friend, I have the honor and the privilege to introduce to you, of course, our first speaker of the day. And guess what? Our first speaker of today is an international sought after speaker who has spoken in Singapore, who has spoken in Europe, in Spain, who has spoken in India, in United States, and he has spoken all around the world. He has trained over 23, he has spoken and trained over 23,000 speakers from around the world, and he has coached over 100 speakers all around the world, and they're doing so well in United States, in England, in Asia, in Europe, like in Germany, in of course in Africa, and most especially in Cameroon. I'm talking about not any other one, but the one and only Oliver Shom. And Oliver, myself, I'm going to walk you through what we owe the future of African children and how we cannot afford to fail our ancestors, to fail our great fathers, to fail those who have handed to us the baton. Friend, get your pens ready, your notepads, and enjoy the next 15 minutes as I'm going to walk you through what we have to start doing right now that we have just started today. Enjoy your session, and I'm going to be right back to introduce to you our next speaker. "2023 is a year I will never forget in my life. I had an opportunity to deliver a presentation at the Asian Professional Speakers Association, Singapore. And before I started my presentation, I asked this question. So I projected the picture of Africa, and I said, when you see this picture, which is Africa, what comes to your mind? What's the first thought that comes to your mind when you see Africa, or when you hear the name Africa? What comes to your mind when you hear the name Africa? And you'll be so surprised to hear some of the things that this audience from Australia, from Singapore, from America, from Asia, from Europe, all around the world, they were saying. And so interestingly, one of them said, safari. Another person said animals. Another one said lions. Another one said monkeys. Another one said poverty. Another one said wealth, like riches. And when I was thinking through all those thoughts and the answers or responses from those, my people, I was like, we got a problem in Africa. I'm like, there's something we have to do. Our narratives have been taken away from us. And it is high time we take back the scripts that have been written about Africa by the West. It's high time we take away the scripts that other continents of the world have written about Africa and given us to play the movie. It's high time that we start rewriting the script that the world has given us about Africa. And now is the time more than ever in the history of mankind. And that is why wherever you are around the world, if you're an African child, an African descendant, friend, I want to let you know it is time for Africa to rise. And now is the time. You know why now is the time? It's because according to statistics and research, by 2040, everywhere you meet 4 people in the world, at least 3 of them will be from Africa. That's amazing. At least 3 of them will be from Africa, or they know at least somebody from Africa. And therefore, the world is aging. And Africa is growing younger every day. Therefore, implies that the future of the world lies in Africa. The energy that the world needs for its production in the next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40, 50 years is in Africa. And how can we be the age of the future while we have allowed others to write the scripts on which we are using to operate? Why we have aligned the other continents and the other people to write our modus operandi? Why are we aligned the other people to write our modus vivendi? Why? It's because we have to rise. If we have never risen before, this is the best time for us to rise, friends. My fellow African brothers and sisters, this is our time to rise and show to the world that truly we are the energy of the future. Truly, we got what it takes for the future of the world to be guaranteed. So in 2021, I had this very phenomenal experience visiting my mentor. So it is always in my culture to visit my mentors and assist them in the house churches. You know, when I was growing up, I love assisting them in the house church. So this fateful day, I left my house. I went and visited my mentor, Dr. Woloko Emmanuel, in Cameroon, in his house somewhere in Bamenda, the northwest region of Cameroon. And my duty that day was to help him and clean the yard. So I walked into his apartment. I greeted him and the wife and the kids. And I told him, sir, I came today to help you clean the compound. He looked at me and he laughed. He said, Oliver, that's interesting to know. And I got a machete. Some people can call that a cutlass, you know. So I went out and I started cleaning the yard, cutting the glass. And instead for me to start in front of his apartment, I went right down and started in front of his neighbor's apartment. I cleaned for like 3 to 4, 5 minutes, and he stepped out of the house. And when he stepped out of the house, he looked at what I was doing and he called my attention to something very important. He said, Oliver, when you are helping somebody, it is always good to start with the direct beneficiary. It is always good to start with the direct beneficiary. And what that means is that instead of starting right in his neighbor's apartment, environment or area, I ought to have started in his own door, so that if rain happened to fall I must have cleaned his own part of the veranda, his own part of the yard. Now, if rain falls and I've not cleaned his neighbor's own, that's not going to be a big deal, because I came there to clean his own yard. Out of a very good faith, not out of any negative thought, he got a valid point. That was a valid reasoning. And so what that taught me was that wherever I go, whatever I'm doing, I want to put first the beneficiary. And I'm asking myself, who is the person who can benefit from this service? The immediate beneficiary. The first person who can benefit from this. Why am I here now? Who is benefiting from this experience? Who is benefiting from my work here, from my services here, from these goals I am producing, from these books I'm writing, from this conference we're doing? Who are the immediate or the direct beneficiaries? And now, when you look critically, you will realize that what we're doing here today in the African Most Wise Global Conference, the immediate beneficiary are the Africans, us the Africans. And wherever you are around the world as an African, the question you should be asking yourself, be it in Canada, in America, in Asia, be it in Singapore, in Malaysia, in Europe, in France, in England, in Germany, wherever you are, ask yourself this question as a daughter of Africa, as a son of Africa, as a descendant of Africa. How am I benefiting Africa with what I am doing? Whether you're a writer, you're a speaker, you're an engineer, you're a pilot, you're an architect, whatever you are doing in whatever part of the world, ask yourself, how is this service benefiting Africa? Because it is time for Africa to rise. And we must rise, because we cannot afford to fail the next generation of African young people rising stronger, bigger, wider, and looking up to us. We can't afford to fail them. And this is a time more than ever in the history of mankind for us, Africa, to rise up and show the world that truly we are the energy of the future, and we cannot allow you again to give us the script that the world is going to use to read who we are. We have to change the lenses. We have to change the frames. And by that, we're going to change the narrative. So, my dear friend, today I came not just as a speaker. Today, I came not just as a convener or one of the conveners of the African Most Wise Global Conference. Today, I came not just as Oliver Sham. I came as a generation. I'm standing here as an individual, but I am carrying a generation. I am representing a generation. I am representing not only a country, I'm representing not only countries, but I'm representing a continent. Over 54 countries. That is who I am representing. And to every other person watching me right now, that is exactly who you are representing. And that is why in whatever you are doing, wherever you are in any part of the world, you have to be exceptionally good. You need to be excellent. So when the world can see your excellency, they will see the excellency of Africa as continent. When the world will see your exceptional skills and talents and capabilities, then the world will see the talent of Africa. And that is when Africa will rise. And for Africa to rise, you and I, we must do our job. We must take responsibilities. We must stop blaming and start taking action and taking responsibilities over the things that must change. For Africa to rise, we must stop asking ourselves, what is our nation, president and leaders doing for us? What is Africa doing for us? We must stop doing that and start asking ourselves, what can we do to our constituencies? What can we do to our counties? What can we do to our regions, to our province, to our countries? To add value to the young people looking up to us, to add value to the next generation, to the posterity, to add value to the siblings around us, to add values even to our parents, because we can't dare to drop the mic. The mics have been handed to us by our forefathers. I'm talking about the Kwame Nkrumahs, the Nelson Mandelas, the Nnamdi Azikiwe. Those are the people that they have given us the mic, and we can't dare to drop the mic. It's time for Africa to rise, and for Africa to rise, the children of Africa, the youth of Africa must rise first. So, I came today to challenge you. Are you joining us so we can rise together? Or you are tearing us so we cannot rise? I came today to challenge you. Are you joining us so we can move together and take Africa to the next phase that's supposed to experience? Or you are joining us to destroy us? I came today to let you know that it's high time you join us, so together we can rise as Africa, so we can rewrite the narratives that they have been written for us. And if we don't do that, if we fail to do that, our children and our children and our children, they shall hold us responsible for why we fail to lead them the right way. And our ancestors will hold us accountable. And God himself will hold us accountable that we failed. And we can't drop the mic. We can't fail. We are here to make history because we are rewriting the scripts that were written long, long ago, the days of colonialism. Africa, let's rise together and make our continent great again. Let's regain our pride. Let's regain our dignity. And if you are listening to me right now, wherever you are around the world, if you believe that Africa needs to rise now more than ever in the history of mankind, I want you to say with me, Africa, let's rise together and make the continent greater again. I want you to repeat again after me. Africa, let's rise together to make our continent greater again. I want you to repeat again for the third time. Africa, let's rise together to make our continent greater again, wider again, bigger again. And congratulations, friend. Congratulations. Africa, let's rise. I wish you a happy celebration, a happy conference. This is day 1. We still have day 2 to go and day 3. And guess what? After the virtual event, a virtual conference, the next conference is going to be a bigger one. And it's going to be not only virtual, but physically in one of our African countries. You don't want to miss that. Stay alert for updates. And of course, enjoy the amazing speakers that will be coming up after me. We have a powerful lineup. Speakers from South Africa, from Cameroon, from United States, all children of Africa converging together. And I wish you a happy conference. Once again, thank you so much, amazing team of volunteers, for having me here and for putting all of this together. It has been an amazing experience, and we cannot say thank you enough. Thank you so much, and God bless you. My name is Oliver Shaw. I'm looking forward to meeting you physically in our next conference. God bless you. Bye. That was a great one, man. I want somebody to put the best emojis. Put your best emojis. Best emojis right there on the comment section. Type them down. Put them down. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Put them down. What was your takeaway from that session? What was your takeaway? What did you learn from that session? What stood out for you? I want you to write down in the comment section. Guys, let's shut down the internet. Let's shut down YouTube and Facebook tonight. Let's do it. And thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that beautiful session. Yes, that was me. That was me. Of course, that was me, Oliver Shaw. So, friend, thank you for listening to that session. And thank you for being part of the Africa Must Rise Global Conference. It's such a privilege for us, our amazing volunteers, and a team of great volunteers from different parts of the world, Cameroon, Rwanda, United States, all around the world, to have served you tonight and to be serving you tonight. And that is why, without any wastage of time, I want to introduce our next speaker. Someone I respect so much, someone who nurtured me, who taught me, who mentored me when I was growing up in my speaking journey. He opened some bigger doors in my early speaking career, and I could not imagine any other person doing that but him. He is an evangelist, he is a doctor, he is a medical personnel. He is a founder, he's a father, and he has traveled around the world, spoken to averagely to 100 people, 1,000 people, 100,000 people. Did you hear that? On annual basis. And of course, he has spoken in Asia, he has spoken in Europe, he has spoken in America, and he is coaching 100 every single year in discovering their destiny, in discovering their purpose. And I am talking about my own personal coach, and this is not any other person but the one and only Dr. Evangelist Rene Kwala. Friend, jam your hands together for this amazing coach, speaker, keynote speaker, because he is going to blow your mind with what you need to know about Africa. He's going to be talking about a very, very special topic, a topic that is so dear to me and so close to my heart. And this is taking your destiny into your hands. Did you hear that? Taking your destiny into your hands. How it is important for you and I, as descendants of Africa, as children of Africa, to take our destiny into our hands and stop blaming the government, our parents, the ecosystem, whoever, and stop expecting one uncle from Europe, from America to come and rescue us. How we have to rescue ourselves. Ourselves, we have to rescue ourselves. Did you hear that? We got to rescue ourselves. And that is why I want you to jam your hands together as our one and only Rene Kwala, Dr. Rene Kwala, comes up to inspire us and to challenge us as we take the bar to the next level. Thank you so much and welcome, Dr. Rene. It is so much of a pleasure for us to have you here at the African Must Rise Global Conference. Thank you. Have the stage, sir.
Into your hands as an African. So my name is Evangelist Dr. Kwala Rene. I'm a social entrepreneur, a life coach, a public speaker, an evangelist, leadership trainer, and author, and the Chief Executive Officer of Africa, Nurture Africa Foundation. I'm so delighted to be part of Africa Must Rise International Conference for this year. I'm glad that you are there today. So my focus this year is taking your destiny into your hands as an African. What is destiny? Destiny means destination. That's the definition of destiny. And in Africa, destiny is often spoken as something fixed, controlled or under circumstances, or guided by our ancestors or families or background or the government. But the truth is, destiny is not a prophecy or something to wait. It is a responsibility that you as an African, you need to embrace. That is why I'm so excited about this topic that you are listening to me this day. Now, destiny is the life of God that God actually designed for you as an African or as a human being. The potential He planted in you as a person. The assignment you were born to fulfill on this earth. And but destiny is not automatic. It doesn't happen automatic. It is just like when you send a child to school, you don't write exam for the child. You have the child study and then write the exam. So your destiny was given to you as a person. It requires your decision, your discipline and direction to be able to attain your destiny. Where you were born is not even a problem. It's not your destiny. But what you do with your time here on earth is what matters. And those are the things we want to address in Africa Must Rise this year with a focus on taking your destiny into your hands as an African. And there are a couple of things why Africans do not take their destiny into their hands. The first thing is culture, the way of our culture. Many people grew hearing things like, leave it to God. And that sometimes will slow the way people should take their destiny into their hands. Sometimes they say, no, it is just a fate. Sometimes it is say it is the way of life. Those are some of the things that come under our culture as Africa. This can produce a passive waiting instead of bold action as an African to take your destiny into your hands. One of the key things that has affected us as Africans that is difficult for us to take our destiny into our hands is the fear of failure. You are afraid of shame. You are afraid that your family members will laugh at you, they will mock at you, they will see you as a disappointment. But I want to share with you, dear friends, that if you are afraid to take a step and then delete success from your vocabulary, anybody who will succeed in life must be able to take a bold step. And another thing is dependency mentality, waiting for the government to come and help you, waiting for some NGO somewhere to come and help you, waiting for somebody to come and help you. And this kills responsibility, waiting for connection. I do a lot of travel, and by the grace of God, I've been to a couple of countries in Asia. When I go to Asia, I don't see Asians waiting for somebody to come and help them. I see Asians thinking about wealth creation. I see Asians thinking about competitiveness. I see Asians thinking about technology transfer. But in Africa, we have been tutored, or because of our environment and other things, to think that somebody is coming from somewhere to help us. If us as Africans, if we must rise, we must deliver ourselves from the mentality of dependability. The next thing is limited environment. We have corruption, unemployment, poor system that discourages a lot of Africans to rise. Sometimes we have sit-tight leaders who have been there for many years. Some are on wheelchairs, establishing new terms, and then they are dead. But that shouldn't hinder you. So what it means, what does it mean to take your destiny into your hands as an African? Number one, you need to take responsibility. Responsibility is the birthplace of destiny. Stop blaming others. Stop blaming your village people. Stop blaming your family members. Stop blaming your leaders. That leaders are not doing this or that. In the country where you are as an African, even with bad leaders, there are people who have been able to make it in life. Stop blaming your past. You cannot change your past, but the decision you take today affect your future as an African. Greatness begins when you say, my life is my responsibility. When you say my life is my responsibility and you take a step, it will help you. The next thing you need to do is be intentional. Nothing grows by luck. Forget about luck. Purposeful people at least prepare and they pursue their destiny with great passion, and this helps them to grow. Another thing is develop yourself. No destiny rises above your mindset. Your mindset is the greatest asset God has ever given you. So if you are poor, it is about mindset. If you are rich, it is about mindset. So you need to build up and develop your mindset and make a decision that you can make it regardless of your geographical location. You also need to change your habit. There are some habits that are roadblock to destiny and you need to work on it. You need to develop your skills. You know, people are not paid for talent. You are only paid for your skills. So if you do not work on your skills, professionalize your education, study in line with what you were called to do, you will remain weak. And then you need to break limited belief system that you are cursed as an African, that you were disadvantaged by birth, you are not inferior to anyone. Your destiny is bigger than your limitation around you. So know that there is a lot that you need to do. Now, we cannot challenge you to rise and take your destiny into your hands without pointing you to some of the things that act as destiny blockers. They are like laziness. Even the scripture says there's no food for a lazy person. Like excuses that at least I did not have the opportunity to go to school. They are like toxic friends. There are some friends that if you want to make it and take hold of your destiny, there are some relationships you must call up before 12 night today. Delete fear from your vocabulary. Stop comparing yourself with other people. And then avoid drugs. One of the things that has destroyed a lot of young people today, especially in Africa, is drugs. When you take drugs, it dulls your conscience and the ability to take sane decisions is not there. Peer pressure. Peer pressure will influence you the negative way and it will destroy your destiny. So there are a lot of advantages in Africa that somehow we need to take advantage. Somehow God has blessed us that everywhere you see a lot of resources. We have all resources that we need. Africa is the only continent in the world that doesn't need another continent to survive. Somehow we were blessed all over. So Africans are resilient. We are able to survive and thrive under pressure. Africans are creative. At least we are able to produce a lot of things. Africans communities are very strong. And then we are also faith-based. We believe in God. And then you are not disadvantaged as a person. So there are a couple of practical steps that you need to take as an African to be able to take your destiny into your hands, which I want to challenge you with. Number one, clarify your purpose. Do you have a purpose? Ask some question. Why was I born? Why was I made an African? When you ask this question and then you understand them and you begin to pursue it, that's the first step. What problem do I feel called to solve in my community? Because one of the things that you must do, if you don't have services to offer, product to sell, you will never ever rise. So purpose gives direction. At least educate yourself beyond the system, beyond classroom, because classroom may give you certificate, but those certificates alone will not help you to rise. Self-education gives you destiny. And then build on entrepreneurship. Take advantage of the advantages that we have in Africa. Develop yourself in communication. Communication will put you on the spotlight and will help you to operate with precision. And then develop your leadership skills, because everything rises and ends with leadership. Build your financial literacy, be able to earn well, save well, and begin with the little that you have, and change your environment. Change what you watch. A couple of young people, especially in Africa, have destroyed their life with pornography, junk movie. Watch documentaries and things that will help to build your career. Change your conversation. If you are moving with guys who have different mindsets from yours, with junk mindset, you have to change it. And change certain habits that have been delaying you from growing. So find someone who has gone ahead of you, because people who have gone ahead of you, they can help you a whole lot to be able to grow. Find a mentor. Experts have said that when you work with a good mentor with a lot of experiences, they reduce your mistake by 50%, and this is something we need to build on. Build your relationship with God, because above all, God is going to give you the grace and unusual ability to be able to rise and take over your identity. This destiny is rooted in divine purpose. When you discover your divine purpose and you build a good relationship with God, you'll be able to rise. And then you need clarity, wisdom, and all of that. Now, we cannot end without giving you some examples in Africa who have been able to rise. They rose up even in our challenges in Africa. We have people like Nelson Mandela. There's nobody in Africa who don't know Nelson Mandela. He turned pain into purpose. He was in prison for 27 years. If he were like us today, would have said, no, I was marginalized and all of that, but he did that. We have pastors like Bishop Oyedepo, like Dr. Paul Enyenche, Joshua Selma, who use faith to build their global influence. Today they have universities, they have businesses, and they are challenging and building a whole lot in Africa. We have people like Chimamanda Adichie, who use storytellings to shape the world narrative. Today she is in the spotlight. Sometimes you see her writing even to the White House in the US. She has influenced the lives of many people as a result of storytelling. We have people like the richest African man, Aliko Dangote, through cement and business, salt and all of that. Today he is positioned with a net worth of over 20 billion US dollars. So you need to take responsibility and be there. So we want to challenge you through this Africa Must Rise conference this year, that as we take this presentation to the close, you need to take your destiny into your hands as an African. And this means you will get to a point where you will say, my future is in my hands, not in the hands of the government, not in the hands of my past, not in the hands of my family, not in the hands of anybody. It is my decision to make it in life. No prophet can take you or any prophecy to your destiny. No prayer can replace your responsibility. Because there are places in Africa where you see a bunch of young people who will just gather in one place, and somebody may deceive them to pray that at least it will increase their destiny. Prayer is not a wrong thing. We encourage Africans to work when it comes to work, and pray as if everything depends on prayer, and work as if everything depends on work, and that will help you. So build on that. So as I come to the close, I want to give you this advice. Therefore, my advice to this generation, including everyone listening to me, in this African Must Rise conference, is that you need to seek for a mentor. Professionalize your education. Humble yourself to save. And when it is, go through the process. Don't skip the process. If you skip the process, you fail at the top. When you go through the process, and when it is your time, nothing can stop you. Nobody can stop you. Do not be like some Africans who want to skip. They get rich quick syndrome. That will not create well. They want breakthrough without going through the process. They want breakthrough because of so many things that they've seen on the social media, fake prophet, and all of that. I want to challenge you not to get into all of that. So stay connected to God, because divine guidance at least will accelerate destiny. Seek wisdom and stay close to God. Go grab your destiny and know that your destiny is in your hands. Don't sit and be waiting for the government. Don't sit and be blaming your family. Don't sit and be waiting on any other person. Behave like the Asians, who are thinking wealth creation, technology transfer, wealth creation, and competitiveness. And this will help you. I wish you the best as you enjoy Africa Must Rise Conference 2025. Thank you very much for being our guest.
If you enjoyed the presentation, put up your hands. I want to see some emojis. If you enjoyed that, put your hands. I want to see some emoji in the comment section, okay? Now, after we have learned about what we owe, what we have to be doing, how to take our destiny into our hands, let's look at the future. Let's hear what Dr. von God Stanley has for us. He's going to be talking about talking on the topic, the future has begun. What African youth need to know about power, cycles, and of course AI. What can we do about AI, power, and cycles to build the future that we have just begun today? Friend, Dr. Stanley Fongo is a dear brother. He's an amazing entrepreneur, great politician, great reverend, pastor, minister of the gospel. In fact, he's all in one. He is into big time agriculture here in the United States. A few months ago, I was in his residence in Los Angeles, California, and we had fun. He took me all around the place, and we went to his farm and to his pear plantation. It was so fun, and I'm like, we need to have this kind of Africans living in America contribute back to the future of Africa and bring him back to Africa, because Africa needs him more than the America does. Okay, and so that is why Dr. Stanley von God is going to be talking to us tonight on the topic, the future has begun. What African youth needs to know about power, cycles, and artificial intelligence. Jam your hands as we welcome the one and only Dr. Stanley von God. Put your hands together, dear friend, as we receive our amazing speaker, Dr. Stanley. You're welcome, and we're so delighted to have you tonight to speak at the African Most Rise Global Conference. It's such an honor and a privilege to have you here tonight, sir. All right, here we go. The stage is yours, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I wonder if I'm connected. Okay, I think I am now. Thank you so much, Mr. Oliver and the team, for inviting me. I think it's such a unique privilege to be here. Unfortunately, I'm outside of America. I'm actually doing this in Nigeria, and hopefully, my connection should hold. And I'm praying that it should. I have a system that is, I think, is a little bit resilient. So I'm quite grateful. The future has begun, truly. And what is important is that we, as young people on the continent of Africa, needs to understand the power that exists and the circles that be, especially when it comes to artificial intelligence. The blueprint for everything that every young African needs to basically harness needs to be in this age of intelligent machine. One of the most powerful things is that the moment we are standing on is not just an average moment. This is a moment that will bring us to a place where clarity becomes as important as anything else. Whenever you're watching, wherever you are basically listening to this conversation from across the continent, or you are on mainland Africa, or you are in the diaspora, I will want to pause and take a moment to just appreciate and thank you for joining in, but to also basically tell you that the time in which you are living in is a unique time. You were born in a unique time. You were not born in an ordinary time. You were born in a set time. And the reason for that is because you were born in a moment in history where history literally is shifting lanes. History is moving from where we are, from where we used to be, to where it is that we are moving in right now. The rule of power is changing. Machines are now learning. Nations are being reordered, and all empires as we know it are actually shaken. New ones are being formed. This is not just the future problem. This is not tomorrow's issues. The issue is this is the prediction. And the prediction is that it's happening now. We are living at the time where everything we ever thought could happen, it's happening. It's happening now. Life as we know it is changing. The future has begun. And African youth, I tell you the truth, are not late. African youth are embracing the moment. African youth are early. They are early to the party, and they are early, to this whole entire shift that is basically taking place. But what I want you to actually have, especially in this time, is we have to understand the powers, the circles, and AI. And the reason for that is because life in itself is basically formulated by power. Every single dimensions we look at so far as life is concerned would have to come as a result of power. And then on top of that, we also need to understand that there are circles, and then we need to understand the framework to which it is that artificial intelligence play so far as this thing is concerned. Tonight is about clarity. Tonight is about positioning. Tonight is about helping you to be able to have a level of thinking and understand the systems that be. Not just about survival, not just to hustle, it's not just about motivation. I'm not just trying to get you from to be hyped up about what's possible. I want to tell you what's actually happening. But strategy is extremely very important. And that is why we need to be able to understand what to do, especially in this age of intelligent machines. How do we really move? And how does power absolutely change the face of things? Let me tell you something about, which many people absolutely never teaches you. Power is not moral. I hope you get that. Power has nothing to do with morality. Power is not emotional. I hope you understand that. Power is not fair. Power moves through these five pillars: money, technology, it moves through organizations, it moves through narratives, and obviously it moves through scale. Every domination that comes as a result of history has used these to control time. They have used this to control circumstances. And if you look at every nation that has become very dominant, these are the engines that they have used to be able to control, empires, and to dominate empires and to bring about conquest. The strongest of these has been the economic engine. The economy has been used by most nations to be able to topple other nations. The second has been advancement in technology. And then, obviously, most organized institutions have also been able to render other nations absolutely, totally incapacitate them and render them useless. If you look at what the economic engine actually does, if you look at the rise of countries like America, that has been through economic engines. Now, if you look at which has come as a result of industries and finance, the British Empire basically ruled through ships and trade. That's what made Britain so powerful. If you ever step your foot in London, you will wonder why that small island had such great power and influence to enslave the whole entire world, so to say, but that came through ships and trade. China is surging, and how China is surging is through manufacturing and data. So the world is actually moving in circles. Power absolutely never seeks for permission. Power will never ask for permission. It shifts to wherever systems are strongest. Wherever systems have the unique ability to stand strong in the face of all adversity, that's where power moves. Now, here is the danger for Africa. And this is why this talk is extremely very important to me. We have the population, we have the minerals, right? We have the creativity. Some of the most youngest bright minds I have seen in the world are Africans. Some of the best oncologists I know are Africans. Some of the best pilots I know are Africans. These are men, first generation Africans born on the continent of Africa, dominating in the spheres of technology, dominating in medicine, dominating in artificial intelligence, dominating in building intelligent systems like what is happening with DeepMind. These are all Africans, born Africans, first generation Africans. But there's something that I want us to understand is that we, not all of us, all right, we have not yet mastered, we have absolutely not even come close to mastering the skill of the digital systems. And this is the age of AI, all right? And power will belong to those who control what? Data, computers, and algorithms and platforms. We have seen this. So just so you understand exactly how powerful this is, if you were going to think about something like the fifth generational warfare, The fifth generational warfare started during the Arab Spring. If you remember the Arab Springs, where North Africa basically went on this series of coups that were basically grassroots organized by the people, and they toppled their governments. That really was fifth generational warfare instituted by developed by the CIA. All right. So the fifth generational warfare systems is where you use information to be able to topple governments without firing a single shot. For you to be able to do that, you must have access to data. Data is extremely very important. Unfortunately, on the continent of Africa, we keep talking about, industrialization, which we do not have. We keep talking about internet penetration, which is basically quite limited. But the reality is, as much as we can, with most of the things that we need to do, there has to be a way in which we keep fighting to be able to bring young Africans to a place where we are in control of data, we are in control of computing power, we're in control of building the algorithms that we need to be able to control the platforms that we own. You cannot be sitting on the African continent and talking about how independent or how free you are from colonial influence, and yet you are basically using colonial platforms to disseminate information, so to pass on information that is of great value to the African. A couple of years ago, the AU soon discovered that the building that was given to them by the Chinese, which was supposed to be the AU center, built by foreign money, all the discussions that was being carried out was being relayed to China in real time. That is nothing else but an eyesore to the African. We must be able to own data. The data we collect on the continent of Africa must be collected by Africans for Africans with an Afrocentric mindset. We must be able to make sure that our computing systems are for Africans, built by Africans, controlled by Africans, and have all African input on it. And then the algorithm, the systems that we build to be able to collect the data and disseminate information on the continent of Africa must also be built by Africans. And we need to own the platforms to which it is that this whole entire algorithm and data collection processes basically do takes from. This is why education alone is no longer enough. Degrees alone is no longer going to protect our people. Talent alone no longer protects people. Hard work alone no longer protects anyone. Only positioning inside powerful system does. And this is why I am absolutely giving this talk. The law of circle. You know what? Power basically rises, it peaks, it falls, and it resets. That's what happens. So every single circle will rise, it will peak, it will fall, and it will reset. History is not random. It moves in circles, all right? Empires will rise, they will peak, they will decay, and then they will reset. Rome rose, and that's true. It peaked and it collapsed. British, okay, the British Empire came along, it peaked, and then there's a decline. America is now, all right, in what many people will say in its late cycle, in its late phase, but also it's begun its decline. All right. Whether you like it or not, cycles basically have the tendency to rise, and suddenly powers rather have the tendency to rise, and then they basically will fall. All right. And so what is this cycles? The first most important thing you need to understand is that when you have heavy debt in in any country, debt, political division, all right, currency stress, rapid technological changes, right in social tension, which is basically what is happening in America, and which is basically being mirror image in Africa, that becomes a major problem. Now, here is the major mistakes that many Africans make. They assume that Africa is behind. I don't think so. Africa is not behind. Africa is actually early in the new global reset. Africa is absolutely extremely early. And so this is what makes me excited, because if you look at the very early reset that we have right now, we have new billionaires, we have new power centers, and then we also have new stories that are being created in Africa. The latest reset created what? The Silicon Valley, Google, Amazon, Facebook, Apple, which are all based in California. All of these companies came along. The next reset, will create what? AI first nations, data first companies, and tech economies. This is the next reset. But the most important thing is, if you look at what is happening and what is shaping Africa, you will soon realize that we are actually just at the beginning of things. Whoever knew that the basis for decentralized platforms, especially when it comes to money, which is cryptocurrency, will be basically launched in Africa in a form that had not existed before. We call that mobile money. Well, we're using data. We're using data, telephone data for money for financial transactions. All right. So it's data, just like cryptocurrency, it's basically data. The difference between cryptocurrency and mobile money is that there's no decentralized ledger and it is not running on a blockchain, but the ideas are similar. So we absolutely do leapfrog on the continent of Africa. And so if Africa positions itself now, we will become builders because there have to be a clear-cut distinction between those who are just going to be consumers and people who are actually going to be builders. And I think that in the continent of Africa, we will be builders and plenty of founders too will emerge out of this circle. So let me tell you something. A couple of years ago in 2016, there was this beautiful, powerful game, which is basically called Go. Go is a game that it comes out of, it's an ancient Chinese game. And that Chinese game, which is called Go, DeepMind decided to build a machine. The first time that the world will basically change was actually in 2016. This is totally unknown to most of us because probably we are not in the tech space. But the world changed in 2017. What you see right now actually began in 2017. It was one move number 37. It turned out that DeepMind, a company that was, working on artificial intelligence, decided to create a game that was going to, a system that was going to play the oldest known game. Go game is known in China, in South Korea, in Japan, and the Go game is an ancient game. It's about 3,000 years old. The Go game, that particular Go game has in itself, it has the possibilities or the outcomes is actually far more than known atoms in the known universe. That is how crazy the game is. So if you play chess and if you think about chess being so complicated, then forget about Go. Go is another level altogether. I mean, Go will make your head ache. So DeepMind built a system called AlphaGo, and the AlphaGo was meant to play one of the leading Chinese game Go player whose name was Lee Sedol. Lee Sedol basically showed up and he was excited that he was going to win. There was no reason why he should not win. And Lee Sedol had 17 world championship, underneath his belt. What happened was the first game, it was a game of five games. The first game, the artificial intelligence platform AlphaGo won the game, won the second game. And on the third game, the Lee was basically losing. So he left, went outside for a place that's been created by him to get to smoke a cigarette. By the time he came back, the Alpha Go had played a move which is known as move number 37. Move number 37 was absolutely bizarre because no Go player will play that particular move. It made no sense. Anyone who is an expert in Go said this was a bad move. I was watching the whole entire thing in real time, and I could hear the commentator says this move makes absolutely no sense. But what they did not know was AlphaGo had made a move that no human had made in history. It changed the trajectory in which it is that the game was being played and gave a new opportunity on an insight to the possibilities that lies behind it. So now no human expert would have played the move 37 that Go played, but what actually happened next was bizarre. Why? Because the AI team, DeepMind, soon realized that for the first time, the machine was not just learning, it was thinking. It was not just following patterns and repetition, it was thinking. And for the first time, they realized that a machine system had outthought all of them, even the best human expert in the field. This was move number 37. So I don't know exactly what your move number 37 moment will be so far as life is concerned. I don't know exactly what will be that move number 37 for you so far as your desires and ambitions to be the best thing that you can be. But I think that what you need to really understand is that machines are no longer copying us. Machines are no longer copying us. They are now discovering new intelligence. They are now thinking in ways that goes beyond our normal way of thinking. That simply means they are breaking barriers. They are going beyond the scopes of reasoning, which would be very important, especially when you start thinking about warfare, when you start thinking about medicine, about finance, about science, about surveillance and governance. We will have to rely increasingly on these complex AI models to be able to lead us and tell us exactly what to do. Whether you like it or not, AI is here. The artificial intelligence platforms, they are here. And it is not a matter of when, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It's not a matter of if this will happen, it's just a matter of when it will happen. And so if you look at companies like Amazon probably scrapped over 60,000 jobs because nobody wants, no, I mean, Amazon is basically not going to bother about hiring human beings anymore, especially when it comes to warehouse services and other services that can be automated. So as I'm talking to you right now, those platforms, those services that needed a lot of human work, Amazon basically scrapped that stuff up. Why? Because machines are doing far more better work than any human can. If you look at a couple of years ago, they call it McDonald's. McDonald's basically came under fire with California, the state of California, which is quite a well-liberal state, and the idea was because they wanted to increase the minimum wage. Increasing the minimum wage basically was a problem to the bottom line of those who were running McDonald's, and this went across all fast food chains. So they increased the minimum wage. And what McDonald's did was it just basically turned to a particular company that was working on a platform and an interface, a kiosk that would be put in all of McDonald's and most fast food chains, so that when you walk in, what you need to do is just punch on the flat screen what you want and then go and collect your order right inside. So those machines took the position of a regular human being. Just because they increased the minimum wage, McDonald's went out and created those machines. So if you walk over into most fast food restaurants right now in America, positions that used to be occupied by humans is now being occupied by systems, mostly AI systems, intelligence systems, or machine systems that will collect your order, and then some human being will make your food until a day will come when robots will be able to make burgers far more efficient than any human can. What I'm saying to you is this. A human being would have to take a pay leave. A human being would have to become pregnant. A human being will probably be sick, tired. A human being will probably show up to work with an attitude. A human being will show up to work having all kinds of mental issues. Not a system, not a machine, nothing. That thing is efficient as it gets, and there are no days off. So guess who the company is going to keep around? The company is going to keep around the machine, not humans. We are now competing, okay, in the world, especially when it comes to algorithm as Africans. We are not competing when it comes to, data. We are competing when it comes to speed and experience. That's true. And that's what we need to move. But I am far more interested in this. What will be Africa's, move number 37? And if Africa is approaching its own move 37 moment, can we truly be able to say we are now getting into that particular location? I will basically push this, as a wrap up. Well, the reality is this. When we look at AI, we are thinking about jobs. We are thinking about power. We are thinking about wealth. AI will not just replace jobs. AI will replace the middle layer of every management. If you're in any management system and you're, probably, in the middle layer, your job is gone. If you are a lawyer that you do routine stuff, any paralegal, people who are working with paralegal services, you do routine stuff, your job too is gone. If you do basic accounting and you're just a basic accountant, your job will disappear. If you run customer service and you pick up phone calls, you work at data center, call centers, like most folks who leave Cameroon and they're working in the islands, especially in the Philippines, your work is gone. If you are a journalist, someone who basically writes for a living, well, your job is gone. I am I'm an author. I do ghostwriting, all right, and I can tell you because I too have become a victim of AI. This is my latest work. It's called a Sosa. It took me about 7 years to complete this work. It's a novel. I wrote this work in about 7 years because I wanted to be thorough. Within that 7 years, I picked up different work from different people who wanted me to write for them as a ghostwriter. The same people who came to me and I was negotiating prices with them because I thought that I didn't really want to do it. So I get them some prices that they will not pay. Now they have like 5 or 6 books in the market. Why? Written by ChatGPT. So nobody wants me anymore, right? I'm a victim of that. If you're somebody who basically just you're some portion, you just do some basic works of as medicine is concerned, it's maybe some doctor somewhere in some neighborhood and whatnot. Trust me, it's just a matter of time until you become totally useless. Your job too will disappear. All right. So, but AI will also create people who are extremely worthy. And the way this will happen is AI will basically create if you're the one who is trying to make money so far as AI is concerned, you must be in AI infrastructure. You must be the person who is building AI platforms. You must be the person who is building AI automation systems. You must be the person who is also building AI healthcare tools. You must build AI healthcare in education, engines. You must also find ways in building applications in the AI that has to do with financial systems. So if you are building these systems, then you are well. This is why young Africans must stop thinking only in terms of whose job I can get and start thinking mostly about which systems I can build or which systems that are already in existence that I can be able to help shape. The wealth of the next 40 years, okay, the wealth, listen to this, of the next 40 years, wealth creation in the next 40 years will have to come from salaries and it will have to come from ownership, of those in digital rails. Sorry, I am in Nigeria. And the most beautiful thing is I'm basically talking to you and I have this light source over here. There might be nothing over here, but my phone is on and thank God for it. And oh, not AI, my uh internet system is actually having some kind of a power bank in it, so I'm good. So when the light does comes back, you'll be able to see me properly, but I guess you can see hear my voice. All right, so I'm going to basically wrap this up over here. There are 5 strategic roles that I do believe that young Africans will be able to that I do believe that young Africans will be able to do. And the most important thing so far as this is concerned is that young Africans will have to be able to find ways in which they can get into these 5 roles, which will be very important. If you're on the continent of Africa, you must be somebody who is a builder. Number one, you must learn how to build. What does that mean? That simply means that you must enter into the areas of coding. You must enter into the areas of engineering. You must learn how to build platforms and you must learn how to create systems. There are so many AI platforms that can actually be able to help you, navigate you through this particular stuff so that you can get yourself ready and become extremely prepared for what is coming. All right. And then secondly, there has to be a way in which you also begin to learn on how to basically operate these systems. You must find a way to become an operator, all right, within this particular stuff, so that you can find yourself to run some kind of a supply chain. You must be able to execute a different infrastructures, and you must be able to manage logistics. This will be extremely very important, and the reason for that is because this stuff will still be around no matter what. You must be somebody who basically learn how to be able to organize and work on capital. Capital will have to be the key. You must be able to learn how to raise money. All right. You must be able to learn how to structure funding. You must be able to learn how to manage investments and capital flow. Part of my work, part of my PhD work is capital funding for small to medium-sized enterprises in sub-Saharan Africa. And the reason for that is because we need to fully be able to understand what the limitations are so far as capital needs in Africa are concerned. Then there has to be somebody who basically work on policy architecture. One of the things that I have done is to be able to set up an a blockchain and AI intelligence platform, which is supposed to be more of a Magna Carta for the laws that govern artificial intelligence creation and its policies and how it shapes us on the continent of Africa. We need to be able to have these platforms. We need to be able to have some kind of sovereignty on the data that is being generated on the continent of Africa. And then the last most important thing that we need to do is we must be the people that basically shapes the narratives. What I'm saying to you is this: we need to be people that control the media. We need to be people that control culture. We need to be people that control our belief systems. We have to be individuals who basically will be the folks that shapes the way in which Africa and the world thinks about Africa. So Africa needs systems of thinkers, people who will be able to put us together and be able to build platforms that will allow us to shape the narratives. When people look at Africa, let them look at Africa because somebody within us has built systems that thinks like that thinks like an African with an Afrocentric mindset, so that we can be able to push Africa's Afrocentric perspective to the rest of the world, without allowing the world to tell us exactly who we are as a people. And I think that this will absolutely be very good. So thank you for the time in which I know we 15 minutes have gone way past that, and I was supposed to do way more than that, but I think that is not fair for the other speakers as well. And basically, I'm only hoping on my internet too, it looks like it might not be holding a little bit more longer. So I have to end this over here. But thank you so much for having me. And I want you to fully understand that you are really born in such a time as this, and that the beauty of your life has literally come, and who you are is nothing else but a wonder in the making. So let your move 37 moments basically occur now. And I want to make sure that by the time your move 37 moments occur, you know that you were born not just to live, you were born to shape and push our civilization forward. Let the sands of Africa, let this let your footprints be found, okay, on the shores of this continent. Let civilization know that you came by. Let our mothers, our fathers, the story that will be told 10, 15 years from now, 20 years from now, 100 years from now, let the stories be told that you came by. Because I believe in you, and I believe that you have what it takes to be able to shape each and every one of us and bring us to the place where we have to be. This is our Move 37 moment. This is Africa's time. This is who we are as a people. Thank you so much. Godspeed. Be the best version of yourself. Rise, rise, rise. It's Africa's time. It's our time. This is our moment. Thank you.
You're asking, what the heck am I dancing? I'm dancing because Dr. Stanley did a great job. Fantastic job. Put it up again for Dr. Stanley. Great job. Thank you so much, Dr. Stanley, for the amazing presentation. And now we're moving to our last speaker of the day. He is a friend, he is a brother, he's a business partner, a collaborator, and he is a founder of so many organizations, so many platforms, and he's leading one of the biggest online and youth platform in Cameroon right now and in West Africa. He travels to China, to different parts of the world, introducing young people to business opportunity, business platforms and opportunities. and he is a powerful guy. In fact, he's a gift to the generation. He's a gift to Africa, a gift to Cameroon, a gift to the world. And if you know the person I'm talking about, you would definitely be on your feet by now to welcome him here on the stage. I'm talking about not any other person but General John Etta. And General John Etta is going to be walking us through how we can adapt during difficult moments, how we can develop grit, resilience, focus, determination to get our goals achieved. Friend, join me and put your hands together as we welcome not any other person but General Mr. John Etta. Put your hands together as we welcome our gentleman.
Tell them that I'm in. Hello. Greetings, everyone. Hope you're all doing great. Please, I want to know if you're getting me. All right. All right. Today, we shall be talking about why Africans. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Daily Robert. Thank you, Immaculate. Thank you very much. I'm so excited to be here with all of you. And special thank you to the phenomenal Oliver Shum, my very good friend and partner, who has created this amazing platform. It's always important for Africans to come together, young Africans especially, and to decide the direction in which our continent needs to move. Africa must rise. There is no reason why we're not going to rise. We have to rise. This is our time. And nobody but us is going to come save us or come build Africa. Anyone coming to Africa is coming for their interest. Put the AC, please. Anyone coming to Africa is coming for their interest, and they are not going to build Africa for us. They're just going to come take whatever they can take and move out. So whether we travel to the USA, to Canada, to China, to Europe, to Asia, Australia, we know that that is not our home. We know that right there, we are being treated like second-class citizens. And it's only in Africa that we have a home. So today, my topic is going to be on the importance for Africans to start believing in our community. The key to all what Africans are looking for is in our community. So we have to become community-centric. We have to become community conscious. We need to read and understand our history. We need to know how we got here. and how we can change the narrative. We have to thank our forefathers, our ancestors, and those who came before us, because it's thanks to their struggle that we are here today. They had to be successful, they had to be triumphant for us to be here today. They did all they could possibly do in that time, according to the potential and awareness and consciousness they had. So we have to be grateful to them, without which we will not be able to leave a meaningful legacy for those who are going to come, after us. If we think we are smarter than our forefathers and they did not do anything, that is the beginning of our downfall. There is a saying in French, c'est dans tes racines que tu trouveras la force de mieux comprendre. It means that it's only in your root that you understand the power to understand where you stand and where you can go, both the past, the present, the future. So therefore, we need to understand how we got here, and that many people, our ancestors, have fought for us to be here. It's not that we cannot start building Africa with accusing, blaming, complaining. We call it the ABC syndrome. We have to build Africa with gratitude, first of all. Those, your parents, grandparents in the village, they did a lot. They sacrificed a lot. Many of them did not go to school so that you can go to school. So we owe them that. So upon this backdrop, this foundation, that the new generation of Africans are rising. And that's why we have great leaders like Oliver Shum, who has come with this powerful initiative to bring 10,000 Africans from across the globe together. Let me start by saying that we have 1.5 billion Africans currently resident on the continent. We have almost, the data says 270 million to 300 million Africans scattered all over the diaspora. We have more than 40 million African Americans resident in the United States of America. That community that you see, those are our brothers and sisters. And we have not done a very good job to reconnect them back to the roots, to the motherland. 40 million Africans in the United States. Why am I talking about them? Because they represent the role model of every black person. If you want to talk about the most accomplished major personality, it's an African American. The most accomplished banker is an African American. It's only when it comes to the most accomplished entrepreneur that you will see Dangote, which is something good. But in every field, basketball and every other thing, music, you had Michael Jackson, the African Americans represent what I can become. So why they have a very high level of confidence, they have very low self-esteem because they have not been reconnected back to us. Why us on the continent we have a very high self-esteem, we have low confidence. So if you want to know what you can become, just look at an African American who is already excelling at a very high level in that thing that you want to be. That is the potential you have. All right? So the African American population represents that. Now, the African diaspora, more than 250, 270 million people, is a massive economy. Now, talking about the Africans resident in Africa, they are looking on us and are counting on us to create the situations, the conditions for them to come back and invest. And how can that happen? It is when we start mobilizing ourselves. When we start mobilizing ourselves, when we stop saying, please give me the remote. When we stop saying, that, oh, I'm better, when we stop tribalistic, ideas and approach to life, when we stop being individualistic, when we go off the board to start thinking about the collective interest, the general interest. Because when we look at most people, most Africans, we realize that we are all about ourselves. Very few young leaders are emerging, like, our leader here, Mr. Oliver Shum, thinking about the collective interest and the collective well-being of, our people. We have many of them across the continent. For example, in Uganda right now, there is a young man, I don't know if it's the third time he's going for presidential election. He's called Bobby Wine. He used to be an artist, but he's shaking the nation of Uganda. And it's against a ferocious dictator and his clique, just like in my country here. And we have all abandoned Bobby Wine to himself and his people, to be trapped in that situation. Same thing happening in Cameroon, same thing happening in other African countries. Do you guys know if the African youth were mobilized, would have supported Bobby Wine and he would have won? He's winning actually, but he's been winning always and he's been rigged. And there is nobody to fight for him. That's just an example. So you will sit in Cameroon or Nigeria or Ghana and say, oh, that's Uganda. You don't know that if Uganda emerges, you emerge. By the way, it's a disgrace that we have 55 African nations. Now, let's call these nations our small villages or neighborhoods. We have one African nation. And that's why I love this conversation, Africa must rise. This is just the beginning. We are going to have a series of conversations, a series of talks to ignite our collective consciousness so that it doesn't end with just the conversation. It should be translated to actual projects that are structured right to the grassroots, right to the kindergartens of our children, right to transforming the script, right to rewriting even the Bible from the African perspective. We need to rethink Africa. Today is the first time I'm coming on this platform, and I don't want to go specific because my area of expertise is finance, real estate, and personal development. But I want us to have a collective and a general understanding of where we are as a people. We are at the bottom when it comes to this, where the civilization of the world is going. If you go to China, I'll be going to China maybe next week for the fourth time. And we are working to open China to as many Africans as possible because you need to go and see what is happening in China. Traveling is the best form of education. Let's push young Africans to travel the globe. Let's go dominate the globe. Let's go learn. Let's go explore and bring the best of ourselves, the best of the experience, best of expertise, best of knowledge, best of connections back into our country, into our continent. It all begins with the consciousness that as Africans, we must think that we are one. We must understand that it's only through our togetherness, Ubuntu. You are there, you exist because I'm here. And together we can move mountains. Alone, I can do just so much. But together we can do 10,000 times, 1 million times. Let me give you guys a practical example. I'm a founder of a microfinancial institution. And in that, we have a community behind it called the John Eta Family Capital, popularly known as the JFC Army. Every week, we save just $2, 1,000 francs CFA. When 1,000 of us save just 1,000 francs, it becomes 1 million francs. That's like $2,000. That's the power of community. And that money can be plowed into an investment, and that investment is generating using economies of scale. and it's being reinvested back into the community. The members of the community can now solicit for loans and go start businesses or grow their businesses, or they can put it in their education, learn skills, or they can put it in developing landed properties. We are right now currently raising a 1.6 billion francs fund. That's like $3 million fund. And we're having our first anniversary where we are launching that on the 17th of January. These are the kind of things we are doing. This is just, a micro perspective of what is possible when young people come together. And we are running this as a pilot study, as a research, so that we can share this with all our brothers and sisters in Africa to emulate. Recently, just a few days ago, something was introduced in the United States called the Trump account. The United States has become so powerful in the way they think. Trump is bringing new policies and reforms that is so mind-blowing. You guys know about the research about universal basic income and universal basic investment. Andrew Yang was running on that research, and I was also running a research called community basic capital, and that's what we're implementing in the JFC. These are perspectives of how to create wealth for everybody, because we should give everybody a level playing ground for them to have at least the necessary basic capital to start life. Poverty is man-made. There is so much abundance in the world. So with an abundance mindset, this is what the US is just adopting just recently, a few days ago. The Trump account. Every child born in the US is being credited with $1,000. And this money is being invested in the S&P 500 in the stock market. Now, by the time that child gets to 18 years, that child has, I think, $150,000 in their name. And in investment, experiencing the compound effect over time. By the time the child gets to 35 years old, the child already has $700,000. That is already a millionaire in dollars. Automated, without you doing anything. Without you doing anything. You see what is possible in the world now? Because with the advent of robotics, AI, Internet of Things, blockchain, everybody will not be able to have a job. Robots are going to be working. Everybody cannot be an entrepreneur. So what is the future of the next generation of human beings that are going to exist? If only a certain few are actually the ones owning all the multinationals, all the Fortune 500 companies, what become of the masses? If just 100 people own more than 40% of the world in the world, what become of the 99%? So we need to rethink the world. And while they're thinking that, Africa can copy and implement. We're already copying it in our own small community. I want you, wherever you are, your nation, you can reach out to me. I can give you findings, research, the mistakes we've made, the successes, the challenges, and the prototype, what has worked for us, the blueprint for you to implement in your various communities. But let me tell you what has been the foundation of our success. Number one is the belief in the Almighty God. Number two is the unifying vision that we have for all of us. The intention to be a good leader with so much integrity. If you don't have integrity, don't get into things like this. If you're all about yourself and you want to become wealthy fast, this is not for you. So I'm inviting all of us to level up and to show up with excellence in whatever we do. See what Trump account is doing. Africa is a continent known for its leapfrogging ability. We can leapfrog. We can copy, adjust, adapt, and implement into our context. We are already doing that. I never knew Americans were also researching in that direction. It is what, since 5 years ago, I've been on that same project with my team, working on it year after year. That's it now in the US. They're implementing it. We're implementing at a very micro level, very small in Cameroon. But what if we implement it? So, young Africans, if we must rise, then you Whether you're 18 years old, you need to be in office. Start considering to become, a scholar. Be very excellent in school and whatever you do. Try to get into office, be it a parliamentarian, a mayor, a governor, a minister, the head of state in your country. Get into politics. Support politics in your various countries, provinces and regions and states, like in the case of Nigeria, in your municipalities or local government. Get in there and occupy the spaces. Don't say, oh, politics is a dirty game. Politics is a dirty game and you allow politicians to rule you. So you allow dirty people to rule you. That's why politics is a dirty game in Africa. In America, politics is what rules. In China, it is politics that rules. China is being run as a business. China is like a company because they have the right politicians in place, autocrats. You are qualified. Your dreams to become the president of your nation, the governor of your state, is valid. Your dream to become the mayor is valid. Your dream to have that big business and to be the friend of the governor is valid. Your dream to be the doctor that has a chain of hospitals is valid. Your dream to have, a mastermind group, to lead a mastermind group is valid. Your dream to be the governor and the founder of a bank is valid. Dream. It all begins with a dream. And I'm going to leave you guys with one thing. Whatever you do, have integrity, have a lot of love for your people in your heart, and sacrifice. We are here to sacrifice for our generation, for our continent. And it's only when Africans like you and I rise that we are going to win on this continent. I will stop here. I can go on and on, but I just prefer to stop here. If you have any questions, I'm available. Thank you very much.